Think of the most terrifying story you've ever heard. Now, what if I told you the real horror isn't in fiction, but hiding in the misty fields and ancient ruins of Ireland? These aren't your typical fireside tales. These are the whispers that even the locals are afraid to repeat too loudly. Welcome, brave souls, to a journey into the darkest corners of Irish folklore. Tonight, we're uncovering the bone-chilling stories you've never heard of. From malevolent spirits bound to the land to creatures that hunt in the shadows. Ireland's history is steeped in more than just beauty and myth. It's steeped in fear. Forget what you think you know about leprechauns and banshees. The tales we're about to explore are far older, far more sinister, and feel chillingly real. So, dim the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to question every shadow you see. Let's begin, if you dare. Our first story takes us to the windswept coast of County Clare, to the imposing cliffs of Merrow. While millions visit for the breathtaking views, few know about the whisper of the lean-in city, a far more predatory being than the muses of poets. This isn't a story of inspiration, but of obsession and decay. The lean-in city is said to be an ethereal, beautiful spirit who seeks out artists, musicians, and poets. At first, she offers them unparalleled creativity and genius. Their work becomes brilliant, their fame immediate. But this gift comes at a terrible price: their life force. The artist becomes her lover, and her victim, drained of vitality day by day. They burn brightly but quickly, their passion fueling her immortality while their own bodies wither. Locals speak of a gifted fiddle player from a nearby village centuries ago who claimed to have met a beautiful woman by the cliffs at dusk. His music became legendary, echoing with a sorrowful, haunting beauty no one had ever heard. But as his fame grew, his health failed. He grew pale and gaunt, his eyes holding a haunted look. He was last seen walking towards the cliffs on a stormy night, his fiddle in hand, as if answering a final, fatal call. His body was never found, but on quiet nights, some say you can still hear the faint, tragic melody of his fiddle carried on the wind, a warning to all who seek glory at the cliff's edge. Next, we venture inland, into the dense, dark woods of the Sleeve-Blue Mountains, a place where the veil between worlds is said to be thin. Here, we don't look for ghosts, but for something much more primal, the Fear Gorda, or Man of Hunger. This entity is not a ghost in the traditional sense, but the terrifying embodiment of famine. Imagine walking alone on a desolate path, a hunger gnawing at your belly. When you encounter a figure, he appears as an emaciated, skeletal man, his clothes in tatters, his eyes hollow pits of despair. He doesn't attack or threaten, he simply begs for food or a single coin. This is where the true terror lies. To refuse him is to seal your own doom. The legend says that anyone who denies the Fear Gorda will be cursed with an insatiable, agonizing hunger. No matter how much they eat, they will waste away, forever feeling the gnawing emptiness of starvation, until they become a specter of hunger themselves. The story originates from the Great Famine, a time of unimaginable suffering. One tale tells of a wealthy farmer who, hoarding his grain, turned away a skeletal beggar at his door. The farmer laughed at the man's play. Days later, a ravenous hunger seized him. He devoured everything on his farm, yet grew thinner and more desperate, his mind fracturing from the constant pain. He was found weeks later, having wasted away to nothing in his locked pantry, surrounded by spoiled food he could no longer eat. The Fear Gorda is a chilling reminder of a dark time in Irish history. A cautionary tale that the cruelty of turning your back on the needy can invite a horror, worse than any monster. Now, let's travel north to the rugged, isolated coast of County Donegal, to a tale that blurs the line between the living and the dead. We're talking about the Slua, the host of the unforgiven dead. These are not just any spirits. They are considered the most fearsome and malicious entities in all of Irish folklore. The Slua are said to be the souls of sinners, so wicked that neither heaven nor hell would accept them. Even the ancient pagan underworld wanted nothing to do with them, so they were cursed to roam the earth for eternity, flying through the night sky in a great, dark flock, like a storm of crows. They are drawn to the dying, swarming the homes of those on their deathbeds, trying to snatch the soul before it can pass on. To hear the frantic beating of their wings or their cacophonous, screeching voices on the wind is an omen of death. It was believed that one should always keep windows facing west closed at night, as the Sluagh were said to approach from this direction. One particularly grim account from the 19th century describes a family gathered around their dying patriarch. As his final moments neared, a sudden, violent wind battered the western side of their cottage. Though the night was still, the family heard a terrifying chorus of shrieks and whispers outside the window. In a moment of panic, a young son cracked open the shutter to see what was causing the commotion. In that instant, the old man's spirit was said to have been snatched and the sound vanished. The family was left not with a peaceful passing, but with a horrifying knowledge that their loved one's soul was now condemned to join the restless, tormented host of the Sluagh, forever hunting for more souls to steal. Our fourth tale takes us to the ancient ringforts that dot the Irish countryside, places often called fairy forts. But the beings who dwell there are not the sparkling, friendly fairies of children's stories. They are the AOC, a powerful and ancient race, and disturbing them invites a terrifying retribution. One of the most feared consequences of disrespecting their territory is being replaced by a changeling. The AOC were believed to covet human children. They would steal a healthy, beautiful baby from its crib and leave in its place a sickly, uncanny replica of the child, a changeling. This creature would look like the stolen baby, but it would be perpetually ill, constantly crying with a voice that didn't sound human and possessing an unnerving, ancient wisdom in its eyes. It would drain the family of their resources and their emotional well-being. A chilling tale comes from County Tipperary about a young couple with a perfect baby boy. One night, after hearing strange, flute-like music from a nearby fort, they found their son had changed. He refused to eat, wailed incessantly, and seemed to look at them with cold, calculating eyes. Desperate, the village-wise woman told them the only way to get their real son back was to prove the creature wasn't human. Following her dark advice, they placed the changeling on a hot shovel over the fire. Before the heat could touch him, the creature shrieked, transformed into a wizened old man, and shot up the chimney. Moments later, they heard a cry from the doorstep and found their real son return, cold and scared but unharmed. This story reveals the deep-seated fear of the AOC and the desperate, horrific measures people believed were necessary to protect their families from the supernatural. For our final story, we delve into the murky waters of Ireland's bogs, where the past is preserved in the peat, sometimes in horrifying detail. These bogs are known for preserving bog bodies, ancient human remains eerily intact after thousands of years. But folklore suggests something else lurks in these lonely, misty landscapes, the Dullahan. You may have heard of the Headless Horseman, but the Irish Dullahan is a far more terrifying creature. It is a headless rider, usually on a black steed, who carries his own decaying head under his arm. The head's eyes are small, black, and dart about like flies, while a hideous, spine-chilling grin is plastered across its face. When the Dullahan stops writing, a human dies. He doesn't speak except to call out the name of the person who is doomed. To hear the name is a death sentence from which there is no escape. The only thing that can frighten the Dullahan is pure gold. Even a small gold pin can make it recoil. One legend from County Sligo tells of a man walking home late at night. He heard the thunder of hooves behind him and turned to see the Dullahan, its horse's eyes burning like embers. The man ran for his life, fumbling in his pocket. He had nothing but a single gold coin. As the Dullahan raised its head to call out his name, the man threw the coin at it. The creature shrieked as if burned and veered away, disappearing into the night. The man was spared, but he was forever haunted by the sight of that grinning, severed head and the knowledge of how close he came to having his own name called into the darkness. The Dullahan serves as a grim personification of death, an unstoppable force that roams the ancient and forgotten parts of the land. From the soul-stealing leanings sit on the cliffs to the predatory Sluagh in the night sky, Ireland's folklore is a treasure trove of terror. These stories, born from history, hardship, and a deep respect for the unknown, show us that the most beautiful landscapes can hide the darkest secrets. They remind us that some doors are best left unopened and some whispers are best left unheard. Which of these tales sent the biggest shiver down your spine? Was it the life-draining muse, the embodiment of famine, the soul-snatching host, the child-stealing fairies, or the hellish harbinger of death? These stories have survived for centuries, passed down through generations, not just to entertain, but to warn. They teach us about the land, about the past, and about the thin veil that separates our world from another, far more ancient and terrifying one. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows of the Emerald Isle. If you enjoyed uncovering these hidden horrors and want to explore more untold stories from the dark side of history and folklore, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you won't miss our next descent into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious and be careful what you wish for when you wander through the ancient lands of Ireland. Sleep tight.